I've been asked two great questions. Slightly insulting questions, but actually great questions. Is non-duality a delusion? And more personally, am I deluded? Fair call, because non-duality is a bit bonkers. But bottom line, if you were to follow the adventures of the Dream Bus Tours animations, or the characters in Read This Fairy Tale and Die, or watch these newer stand-up videos, they all point to this supposed consciousness or awareness here that is thought to exist inside of everyone as one's true self, to actually be an illusory perception. So, let's have a look at what some neuroscience suggests. One scientist uses a story of a man who believed he had a squirrel living in his head. He was absolutely sure it was in there. I said squirrel, not a panda. No squirrels in the wardrobe department. Okay, pretend that is a squirrel. The neuroscientist points out that if we all shared that same delusion, we would introspect, find the animal in us with all its special properties, be certain of its existence, describe it to each other, and agree collectively that we each have it. We would be forced into the dualist position that the brain is somehow both a neuronal machine and at the same time on a higher plane a squirrel, or in this case a panda. He suggests that if we were to replace the word squirrel for awareness, the logic remains the same. We think it is inside of us. We have direct access to it. We are certain we have it. How can neurons create it? How can we explain the jump from physical brain to ethereal awareness? He then suggests there is no jump because there is no such thing as ethereal awareness. Instead, it is the brain processing information, and very specific information. With the info about an object, there is also information that says it is being seen. This is called an attention schema. Yes, a dry and boring phrase that, but it just means a simplified model. There is a model of awareness, but not actual awareness. So the neuroscientist says the brain does not have an ethereal consciousness. It instead describes it in the same way it describes the colour white. We see white as a pure colour, devoid of all colours, yet it is actually a very dirty mix of colours. The brain codes white not from what is actually there, but constructs a different experience. Isaac Newton's colleagues were outraged when he told them about the reality of white. They saw white as ethereal, spiritual, pure and holy. Many see consciousness in the same way. They are sure consciousness is a thing living inside of them as them, becomes still and silent, and there is pure consciousness shining brightly. So brightly it is considered the same consciousness as the source of the universe. It is divine. It is your true divine self. It can seem equally outrageous to find that possibly there is no such thing as consciousness inside bodies. Instead, there are neurons constructing a description. Awareness turns out to be a description of attention. Attention is a data handling method. It is a doing rather than a having. It's doing it as an act but has no knowledge of it. But at the same time, the brain also describes attention. This description of information gives rise to the feeling of an ethereal conscious entity, even though there is no such thing. We mistake the description of attention coded by the brain as ourselves. We think this is who we are, even though that is only a simplified map of attention. And this is occurring in the same way as when light enters the eye and the brain describes colour that isn't out there, but describes it so richly it becomes the experience. A description of colour that isn't even out there, plus a description of attention that doesn't involve actual awareness, equals a supposed experience of being aware of colour. It seems like there is someone experiencing colour. Boy, science is wordy. Radical non-duality isn't a religion. It doesn't have a tribe to join, isn't interested in cleaning up a consciousness that isn't there, or linking their own consciousness to a divine conscious awareness that is out there somewhere, calling us home. Admittedly, there are some characters in the radical non-duality world who bang on forever about their me that's dropped, and it's so dropped they can barely walk through a door, even though they can seem to film themselves with their no me and press upload.
Here I am, next to a fence with no me. It's amazing.
And some seem to declare anyone else who hasn't had the exact experience of a collapse as them needs to be set upon by the non-duality police.
Oi, is there a me still in there? Do I sense consciousness in there? I'm going to have to fine you if there's still consciousness.
But actually, no one walks into the non-duality meeting with consciousness because there is no such thing. It's like a painting.
This is all paint. There's nothing but painting.
No. I have ethereal consciousness. It's a bit dirty. I need to clean it up, become still and silent. I need to do all the guru's exercises and be mindful and present and in the here and now so I can penetrate all illusion and become one with the oneness of consciousness.
That's an illusion. There is only paint.
But how come I have this conscious subjective feeling? I know it. It's the only thing I know for sure.
Painted by the brain. But it's still just paint.
Oh. My goodness, there is only paint.
I hate metaphors. I just want the bottom line.
The brain creates a map of consciousness. It's made in the brain by brain material. Brain material is essential for the illusion of consciousness to appear, as if there is an actual ethereal presence of consciousness, even though it is just a drawn-up map by the brain. So no drawn-up big consciousness out there, unless there is a big brain somewhere that would also be falsely drawing up a map of consciousness it doesn't really have. No drawn-up map of consciousness in statues or ghosts or plants. So that's neuroscience. Non-duality says it can be intuited, for want of a better word, that consciousness isn't real, including all the conclusions that come from the idea that consciousness is real. So there is no one who's actually a separate observer to observe what? What is? What is? Energy? Nothing? Everything? Eternally unknown and never knowable by a drawn-up bit of consciousness.
Does a bat, if it's a good little bat and cleans up its sonar waves, become one with the divine sonar waves of oneness?
I'm ending this thing.
Magical beings thought it would be a hoot if they married and mated with the common people. They were wrong. It happened slowly. No one noticed it at first. It was only over time the creatures realized something was terribly amiss. The more they gained in self-awareness, the harder it became to access the source of the one magic. But there is a prophecy of a boy, a backward boy. He has trouble casting spells, and he has to learn how to wake up from all illusions. At first, his lessons are about surviving the ordinary spells thrown his way, but then he's tasked to bring enlightenment to the whole world.
You manky botchling! Pracumba! What the feck? It's a map of truth pointers.
Only when the search becomes a matter of life and death does the teenager desperately need the help of special truth pointers to complete the mission.
Are you body?
But But who to believe?
I am not, but the universe is.
It's all the same stuff! It's all the same stuff!
But then he meets a strange couple in a stone cottage who suggest the search he's on is the biggest delusion of them all. And all the parameters change.
Go in there, you die.